Martin Luther King Jr. and other leaders hoped for 100,000 people to come to Washington, D.C. to show support for civil rights and law. This March on Washington took place on August 28, 1963, and 250,000 people came. People of all colors, young and old, rich and poor. Dr. King was overwhelmed and spoke from his heart.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that little children will be able to one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the color of their content. I have a dream today.
And I say to you today, my friends, let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado.
Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California, but not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring.
When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we'll speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed. Dr. Martin Luther King was named Time Magazine's Man of the Year and won the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Prize is a special award given once a year to one person in the world who has made a great change for peace.
And Martin Luther King's work was not finished. He worked hard to make sure that everyone had equal rights. He worked hard to make sure that Black people had the right to vote. He worked hard to help poor people. He continued to give speeches.
April 4th, 1968. Martin Luther King was standing on the balcony of a motel in Memphis, Tennessee, where he was shot and killed.
Martin Luther King led by example and his words lived on. Our nation joined together to remember Martin Luther King. They joined together in a song of determination as our students do today.
In the United States of America, we still have leaders and we still have laws to safeguard this so hard-fought freedom by many brave men, women, and children.
At Deerwood, we firmly believe that all students and their actions can make a difference. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is an example of how an individual, joined with other individuals, can change our world for the better.
This message is illustrated by the next song sung by the entire student body and led by our 5th graders.
You and I are just
now sing our favorite song.
In celebration of the lives and heroes, and the lives and legacies of so many heroes,
Including Ruby Bridges
Rosa Parks,
and Martin Luther King Jr.
The story asks and answers the question, what can one little person do?
Deerwood Elementary, we just had our first all-school assembly. Let's give a special clap for the 5th graders who led us. Let's give a big clap for all the people who did all the hard work, which is why we're celebrating this day in the first place. Think about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Ruby Bridges, 3 of many, many, many people who worked very hard to make sure our world can be a place where we can all get along and we can all be together and be equal. Let's give them a hand.